Hey everybody, it's me again, and this one's another one of my copyright videos. Yep, I'm protecting another story. And luckily for you guys, this time I'm not going to go into a whole huge backstory about why or how I wrote it. Because, really, no one wants to listen to me talk for 6 minutes, I'm guessing. Yeah, probably not. So, I'm going to jump right in and log it. This story today, Pacemaker, is another story that I entered in STEMFest. I already explained what STEMFest was in the last video, so if you really want to know, you should head over there. I got first place again, but that's not the point. Point is, this story is a story that I wrote not too long ago. It was published in 2013 on STEMFest's NIE website, just like the end of number 6. But I'm going to keep the explanation short and concise. I don't need to do any more explaining about what STEMFest is or why it was there, so I'm going to jump right in and start talking about the story. Did I? I feel like I've already said that. Or maybe I said it before, or maybe I'll say it again. Oh god, I am not good at recording. The premise of this story isn't so much science fiction, but more the technology portion of STEM. And, like the last story, more about the human drama. And it's not all about those fancy time travelers or space people or whatever, or anything like that. It's a story of survival. The question driving this story is, how far will you go to survive? That's the main idea behind this piece, where one of the richest men in the world and his personal helpers get stranded on a desert island with no escape. But the catch is, I wouldn't want to spoil it for you. If you're interested, just click the link below and read for yourself. I gotta say, this one's a lot better than the last. I mean, it's not perfect, and if I ever rewrite it, I'll edit a lot of it, but hey, it's better to read and not as stunted as the last. The end of number 6 was meh. This one's better, trust me. Oh, and I did write it. It's copyright to me, just so you know. That is the point of these videos. I won't want to skip that. I really got nothing else much to say. I mean, I already went over this is another STEM story, so there's that, but this is just another log in a makeshift system. An entry in a copyright thing I came up with myself. I don't know. Anyway, moving on, I'm gonna read. Let's go then, Hargreaves said eagerly as the news of this sank in. They dashed down the trail, breaking branches, snapping twigs, and tearing their suits in a mad dash to find other people. They had the frenzy of men who had thought themselves dead, but were just now finding life, even though they had only been conscious from the wreck for about an hour. They didn't have to go far to find the person that had created the trail. Beaumont, Stella, Smith, and Dr. Ackerman sat around a flat rock arguing loudly. A small spring flowed from the ground nearby. That must have been the source of the fresh water for the trees. No, we need to cut down this forest, Beaumont roared. Cut it down and burn the logs. The fire will attract somebody. How do you expect we cut down these trees? With a herring? Dr. Ackerman said sarcastically. Even if we could cut the trees down, burning them would only waste the wood, Stella argued. We need to use the materials to build shelter. Smith said nothing. He only sat and watched the three others argue. What are you all fighting about? Captain Rogers broke in. The best course of action to survive, Dr. Ackerman responded. But they won't do as I ask. I am your boss, Beaumont thundered. You're not my boss while we're dying on a desert island, Stella cried. The three started to argue again, and Smith only got up and went to the small spring. He put his hand in the water and brought them up to his mouth for a drink. He sipped the water silently, watching the group. Calm down, all of you, Captain Rogers finally said. There's a time and a place for everything. Chopping down the forest is not our first priority, and neither is leadership. Food is always our first priority. Food and water. But I see we already have water. We actually have food, too, Smith finally spoke up. The rest of the group quieted down to hear what the engineer had to say. I found some of the supplies from the kitchenette on the plane. I'd wager we have enough food for 2 or 3 days here before we have to find our own. That's not nearly enough, Beaumont said irritably. We'll starve before we're rescued. And so goes survival. But believe me, that didn't even cover any of the major plot points. And the major plot points are something that are really going to make you think. The major plot points are about death. And pacemakers. Dun dun dun! Shameless self-promotion. Yeah!